Hey there, these are my random thoughts. You little bitch. You like spaghetti.
In this video, I just wanted to express some of my thoughts, things that are going on in my head. I like to learn how to just be happy organically and naturally without the help of substances. I'm not a depressed person or a sad person, but I'm not as happy as I'd like to be. I'd like to be more happy. I think everyone wants to be more happy.
Happiness or
happiness.
Okay, I can explain this a lot better on the whiteboard. One second. All right, so this is how happiness works for me. Okay, so this is happiness with drugs. Pretty much, I haven't discovered drugs yet, right? And then in high school, I discovered drugs, and it was like, woo, I got high, right? I got high. But then I ran out of money, and I couldn't get drugs anymore. And I started getting depressed, and I couldn't be myself. And boom, I was down in my depression pit again. And then finally I worked up, got a little money, got enough money for my mom from begging on the streets. I'm just kidding. Back up again. Boom. I'm high again. But then I ran over drugs. You get the point, right? That's how happiness worked for me when I did drugs. It was like get high, crash, get high, crash, and the cycle continues. Okay, this is how happiness works for me now that I'm sober. All right, so my sober happiness graph looks like this. All right, it's been like this, right? Then I learn a little bit something, and it goes up a tiny bit. Then it just plateaus. My happiness plateaus. Learn a little bit something, goes up a little bit, plateaus. You get the gist, right? But look at that. I am still going up though, in happiness. It's just that in between, I have to wait, and I have to spend a lot of time getting to that little up mark and progressing, finding progress. But I'm sober. That's what matters. And the progress is permanent. I build upon that progress. So those are the differences. So these are the two graphs side by side. You see drugs, you pretty much are level. You don't really get anywhere. You just go up and down, and your happiness levels don't really go anywhere. You know, in some cases, tilted down a little bit, your happiness levels just go down. But when you're sober, you actually, the retention of what you learned is there. You grasp onto what you learned and how you got there. So your happiness levels slowly rise, but it takes time and patience. That's how I think of happiness. I don't know how you think of happiness. Please share below. But I hope that helped someone out there just get like a conceptual understanding. That's kind of why I shied away from drugs, because I just want to, well, first off, I was scared that I would just fall into a Great Depression and start relying on it. But I also wanted to see how I can work on my natural happiness levels and organically build that up.
Art and relativity.
This year's been a rough year, and it's been a rough year for all of us. But I think it's in our roughest and toughest times where we really discover ourselves and learn about ourselves. Today, I was at the dinner table with my family, and one of our friends was talking about how Mozart, Leonardo da Vinci, Van Gogh, these people were extremely sad when they created their art, when they created their masterpieces. I hope that to create great art, you don't have to be depressed and sad. But so far, I don't know. If there's an artist out there that you know about that has created art when they're like high and like super happy and nothing bad has happened in their life, let me know about this artist. But from what I see, the greatest art, the greatest pieces of work come from suffering. But there's like a saying that goes like, suffer first, enjoy the pleasure later. It'd be like work out now and then you can enjoy the benefits of being fit and healthy when you're older, versus enjoy pleasure now, suffer later, which is like sitting and watching TV or playing video games or stuffing yourself with unhealthy food. You're gonna suffer later. So maybe art is like the same, like you suffer, you're sad in the moment, but then you create a great piece of art that everyone's like, oh my God, it's so cool. And then you can enjoy that. That's like pleasurable, I guess.
expression and grief.
I'd like to get better at verbalizing, expressing myself articulately, more honestly, more truthfully. And like speaking of expression, like grieving just means love in the face of loss. I want to practice grieving more and remembering that I lost a loved one last year and I need to grieve that. A lot of people have told me that I've grieved very well. The reason I've been able to grieve so well is because I have a creative outlet, and it's been like my videos and writing and music. By expressing my sadness, by getting it out there into the world and the universe, it's definitely helped disperse some of that sad energy, some of that love in the face of loss energy. That's something I could actually talk about and share some insight and feedback for how to grieve. There's not really much, honestly. It's really just been expression. Expressing myself has helped me grieve. Specifically expressing myself creatively, but definitely I think avoiding drugs was a big helper. And avoiding anything that numbed me from feeling these sad feelings was what helped me get through it quicker. I think when you resort to numbing yourself, you're like pressuring yourself off from expressing your grief and your sadness. And then over the years, it just gets bottled in, and then you may not ever release until the day you die, but usually that pressure, that emotional pressure, turns into pain. So you just kind of hold on to that sadness and that grief, and if you just keep holding it in, eventually you'll forget how to express it. So basically, I just figured might as well nip in the bud, talk about it, get it out there in the open, talk about my grief, my sadness, and just be done with it. Why procrastinate the inevitable? I have to feel this pain. I have to like get it out there. Still, I have a lot of work to do on myself. Every single day I have so much more work to do on myself. I always feel like I can improve and get better, and I never am satisfied with who I am at the moment. I just want to get better. So it's just a constant pursuit to becoming my full best self. I don't think I'll ever arrive at my best self, but just the pursuit and the intention of pursuing the betterment of myself is what matters the most.
Fulfillment.
And I also want to work out how can I feel more fulfilled. Fulfilled in the things I do every day. I want to do something important every day. Something that makes me feel happy to go to bed at night. Proud of my day, proud of myself. I'd also like to work on my focus, just being able to focus on one thing. That's what my mentor told me I needed to work on, was structure and discipline. Have the discipline to focus on one project and really just nail it, get it perfect. At the same time, I'm learning to accept the paradoxes in life. Like sometimes with these videos, if I try to get the video perfect, then the video never gets done and I get frustrated and I end up just quitting. In the pursuit of mastery, I'm okay with posting a video even if I just think it's good. It's like perfect is the enemy of good, right? It's just in my nature, who I am. I'm never satisfied with the work I do. I don't like anything I do. I'm like my own biggest critic. I'm never happy with anything I do. And then at the same time, like when I go to bed, not having created something that I can be somewhat proud of, I'm like mad at myself and I'm hard on myself. So it basically sucks to be a Noah.
Purpose.
And then I want to figure out how to feel less lost all the time. Figuring out how to find a direction and then being able to stay on that direction, like an internal compass. And then just being comfortable being myself in all situations. I'd like to be comfortable with myself. Of course, I don't think I'll ever avoid being uncomfortable, and I think being uncomfortable is good. It's like a sign of growth and progress. But it'd be nice to just feel comfortable, like when I'm trying to share a very important idea that has been sitting in my mind for so long. I want to be able to share it articulately and clearly with people so I can see that idea come true.
Comparing.
And I just want to work on my mentality of like comparison. I want to switch that completely off and just be able to focus on myself fully, because comparison is the theft of joy. It's hard to shut that comparison thing off, but I'd like to be able to do that.
Creativity.
For me, creativity is so unpredictable. It's like so up and down. Never know when I'm gonna have a great idea. And then when I film or when I talk, I never know if it's coming out authentically, you know, in the most pure form. It's just at the end of the day, I want to have made something that I can be proud of. Like, I'm addicted to creating. That is my drug. And when I don't get that fill, I feel shitty, you know? So I want to figure out how I can consistently make a piece of content that I can actually be proud of, that flows out of me and it is not so like robotic, like, hello, my name is Noah and today I'm making a video. Like that type of thing that you see everywhere. I want to make something that I can be proud of, that is fresh, where I myself learned something awesome from that video. And then I also want to have fun making the video. I don't want to force myself to make a video where I'm just like sitting in front of the camera. That's kind of what I'm doing right now, where I'm just sitting in front of the camera and like forcing out like some idea, because usually those videos are boring and I just post it just to like make myself less depressed and angry at myself.
Story crafting.
I like to explore new ways of filmmaking that haven't been done before, really hone in on the craft of storytelling and filmmaking and make it better and more interesting than it already is. Play around with like new technology and new formats for telling stories. Right now, YouTube is just like a sandbox for me. I have a feeling for myself that I'm gonna move out of this space somewhere else, and I'm gonna discover like new tools to tell my stories. Because the camera and video and editing and YouTube isn't the only format for doing this. In high school, I did technical theater and I learned how a stage works and how it's built and everything about it. And I think that theater is a perfect place for people to express themselves. But there's some cool theaters out there for sure. I just have like my own ideas for how to create a theater, something a little different, more intimate, I would say. I have to look around what ideas have been done out there, but I have my own ideas for what I want to do. Like creating a space where people can express themselves without the screen as a wall between people, like more, you know, a space for communication. But then again, as I've learned in the real world, great ideas are great in your head, but when you put them into action, that's a little harder. In principle, it may be awesome, but in action, it's a whole different story.
Awareness.
I'm a very fast person inside. I think very fast. I come up with things very fast, and I want to practice slowing down and even slowing down my breathing and speaking at a slower, but still more interesting, at a slower pace, just slowing myself down and thinking things out and expressing myself, giving myself the time to express myself clearly. Like I have a thought in my head and it just comes out like, bleh, like completely wrong. Like I have like this beautiful, in my mind, all the marbles are like perfectly set out, you know, to the image I see, and then when I speak it out, all the marbles just like fall everywhere and are a mess, mumbo jumbo. See, like language is not the best form of communication, honestly. Like we communicate so much more just through like body language and facial expressions. If I didn't have to talk, if I could just telepathically get it to you, I would probably do that, but we're stuck with this.
Empathy.
And then last of all, I want to be able to get out of my head and my ego and place myself in your shoes, my audience's shoes, because I care about you guys. And just like myself, I only watch a video if I know it's going to help me out or one of my friends out, of course. But usually it's if it helps me out. So if I'm just talking about myself all the time, I don't see how that's going to help you. I'm sure you can reflect on some things, but I want to be able to step out of myself and see how I can help you get things done in your life and become better. And in any way, how can I serve you? That's the whole point. Anyways, I think I've said enough. Thank you for watching. Please share if you have any ways to spark that creative flow. How do we tap into that creative flow? Imagine there's like a river or something going through our minds. It's invisible, different realm of the universe, but it's like the creative universe. How do I step into that universe and tap into that creative field? Let me know in the comment sections below. And yeah, see you in the next video. Peace.
Butweit, des Mort.
Actually, since they don't know who you are in my life, maybe you could just give a few words.
Student of your father's, friend of the family, adopted, uncle, brother, son.
Shushu.
Shushu, yeah.
What language is that? Shushu.
Shushu is Chinese. It means uncle,
yeah, Chinese.
father's brother. And I was fortunate to meet your family, you guys, in 2005. So yeah, you guys came into my life when I was going through a very difficult time and became my family. And with the wrestling, so we used to wrestle, this people should know.
Yes.
Me, one guy, would wrestle with 5 kids, right?
Yeah.
And I would have all 5 of you on one big mattress that I would try to grab at least one of you, and all of you would try to fight. So yeah, we grew up wrestling. So yeah, so we're wrestling, we're family. You know, so they learned about jujitsu holds and how to get out of jujitsu holds. But I was smart enough that whenever one was going out, I'd get another one.
How did like jiu-jitsu apply in like your way of thinking, in your mindset?
You know, your dad was a great teacher of that, and that was when you do something, you have to do it absolutely. To be on time, you have to be ahead of time. If you're gonna do, you know, how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you're gonna do something, you know, the whole Yoda thing, there is no try, there is do or do not.
Yeah, yeah.
Your dad was the personification of that. He was the elder brother and the father that I wish I had had as a child.
I love that. I love what you just said. But sometimes I find that my mind is like an ocean and my consciousness is like a fish, and I don't even recognize that I'm in it.
Wow. Okay.
So it's hard to be aware of that.
I value that you said that you acknowledge that, I respect that, and I'll also give you a reminder. Elon Musk has said, I thought I was insane. I had all these ideas and voices inside my head, always on. There was never a stop. I thought everybody was like this. When I found others aren't like this, I thought, am I crazy? So you have a hyperactive mind, a hyperactive imagination, and I say that because I'm similar to you. We're similar in a number of regards. And for me, it took me like shutting down certain parts of me in order to be able to learn to live with people, and then discovering I gave up my laugh. You know my crazy laugh? For
Why?
10 years, because somebody said your laugh sounds so fake. You know, somebody said this pink shirt you're wearing makes you look gay. I threw away that pink shirt. I realized I don't care what people think.
Yeah, fuck
I
them.
love my life, exactly. So my laugh came back after 10 years. So you know, you gotta value your wisdom. If every child who is born, if we could mine that child's wisdom and the lessons, you know, yoga mudras, all of these things, they were made by studying children. All of these by studying infants. That's
Like what they do with their fingers?
Like some kid is like this, some kid is sucking their thumb, some kid is doing this, you know, Rama does this. All these things, there are these mudras.
Back to laughing, I feel like I laugh, but I wish I had like a more oiled laugh machine. What makes it so easy for you to laugh, and what can I do to laugh more?
You know, be carefree, have faith. Like, envision the future, believe in your future.
It's a tough one to follow.
No, it's not. I think it's tough. Benjamin Disraeli says, whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. He said this in 1848, and in 1948 Israel was formed. He became the Prime Minister of Queen Victoria, and it was his life's mission to help the Jewish people find a homeland.
I believe in that.
Yeah. So
nothing's impossible.
And at that time, it looked impossible. It was in the heart of the Turkish Empire, and you know, Muslims weren't going to give it up, and you know, now it's here. So whatever you can conceive.
Do you know what that noise is?
Oh, could it be? Could it be my car? Because I'm kind of parked close to the white van.
Could it
Let me
be?
go look.
Go check, just in case.
I mean, could it be somebody trying to get out from behind my car?